everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have a Dazzled or Disappointed for you on a product that at this point in time, after a week of having been released, there are a million videos out there already, but this was the soonest I could get mine up. It is on the Natasha Denona Tropic eyeshadow palette. Have quite a few thoughts. I've been wearing it daily, literally for the past week, with the exception of maybe 1 day, 2 days, because I had to test something else out. But I got it about, I'm trying to think, I had ordered it a week and a half ago, so I've had plenty of time to play with it, use it, give you thoughts. I am wearing it on my eyes today, so I have a well thought out review for you, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Let's go ahead and get into this bad boy right here. So let me take this out of the box. The box does resemble the eyeshadow palette. That's what the box looks like. You know her boxes or her packaging to be pretty plain on the outside. This is what it looks like on the inside. So before we do our deep dive, let me kind of give you the details, which again, you probably already know all this, but it is on Sephora's website. Okay, so the Sephora website says it's a limited edition eyeshadow palette with 15 brand new tropical shades. This limited edition palette features 15 shades of Natasha's new long-lasting cream powder formulas combined with her classic signature formula. So you've probably already heard she changed up the formula for this palette with a range of matte and metallic finishes in complementary tropical pop colors and pastels. You'll be inspired to create endless looks as far as your imagination leads you, from soft and natural to colorful, vibrant, and bold. Let's see, the top and center rows are pastel and nude shades that can be applied on the eyelids and the crease, while the bottom row is full of colorful, tropical, and exotic shades for the upper and lower lash line. So I guess it's kind of giving you a tip on how to use the shades. I don't go by that. I kind of do my own thing. Again, it's $129. You're getting 15 shades at 0.05 ounces for a total of 1.5 grams. I know one of the gripes was that there is less product in this palette than there is in her previous palettes, but yet for the same price. I've also heard people saying, or I guess she had come out saying, that the reason for that was because this is a lighter formula, so there's same amount of product, but it's lighter, and I don't know. I don't get into all that, honestly. I mean, yes, it is what it is. It's one of those things where if you want something bad enough, you're going to pick it up anyways, regardless of how much product is in there or not, or those are just things you have to wait out. Just know that there is less, technically, there's less product in this palette than there is in her previous palettes. So let's go ahead and talk about the packaging. You know that her packaging, in fact, let me grab one real quick. Hold on. Okay, so you know her previous packaging to be kind of like this leather bound, it's not real leather, but this kind of leather type packaging, almost kind of like styrofoamy on the inside. Real cushiony. I like that because I feel like it kind of protects the shadows better. Now, this palette, this packaging, a lot of people like better. Feel like it's a little more sturdy because of the plastic. Also, something that she has added are little holes on the back. So let me kind of bring you in. So those little holes are there for you to pop out the shadows in case you want to put them in something like a Z palette. If you don't want to keep it in here, you have the option to pop them out and move them to a different location. I don't do that. If it already comes in a nice case, why move it? So comes with a full mirror on the inside, and then as I mentioned in the haul, I'm not really going to be able to pull this upside down because mine arrived broken. So you know Natasha Denona shadows to be very soft, and I had placed my order not knowing that same day it was going to be released in store. So when I went in store to pick up the Tarte Be a Mermaid palette, I saw this out there and I was like, why didn't I just wait? Then one of the ladies I know at Sephora had said, you should probably hope that it doesn't arrive broken. And of course that hadn't dawned on me when I placed my order, but sure enough, when it came in, it was broken. So the mirror, I will already tell you, it's like the glue's coming, the glue isn't holding the mirror because when I open the palette, I can feel it move, so I kind of have to push it back. And then of course some of this came broken that I've pressed back into place, but you know, you can only press so much. But this is what it looks like without me tipping it over too much and all the powders crumbling to the ground. You do have this row of tropical shades like the description said. You have a couple of rows of pastels and mattes that you're going to use for your crease and all that good stuff so that you can technically do a full eye look with this palette. So the days that I have been using this palette, I've used nothing else. I've only used shades from this palette in order to create full looks, my one-stop shop. So of course, using the tropical shades as those pops of color, it is what I am wearing on my eyes today. So I'll zoom you in here in just a bit. But first off, let's go in through swatches, and that way you can see what they look like up close, and then we'll go from there. First four are Peach Puff, Sangria, Fake Tan, and Cocoa. And that's what those look like right there. I did a bad job on swatching that, so that's really not the eyeshadow's fault. That is operator error, but that's what those look like. I will already tell you, the mattes are very, very soft to the touch. They're not, I don't know how to tell you, they're not buttery soft. They're almost like just smooth soft. They feel very, a little bit stiffer. But they're very soft, and it's, you know, they're not chalky or anything like that. It's just that they're a little bit stiffer. The next four, very neutral. We have Sahara, Nudist, Vintage Taupe, and Pastel Melon. And here in a bit, I'll let you know what all I am wearing on my eyes, but that's what those look like. If you already are familiar with my channel, you know I do one swipe swatches across the hand just for pigmentation purposes, so that really is just one swipe across the hand. Okay, the next four, now we're going to get into more the pops of color. You've got Gusti, Limoncello, Mint Frost, and Exotic. With Mint Frost, I'm pretty limited as to how I can dig my finger into the pan because that one was completely shattered when it arrived in the mail. So that one is really, really pressed and packed in there, but I can't rub too much or it will just practically disintegrate. But I have used all of these shades in the time that I have had this palette, and that's what those look like right there. Okay, and the last three, which I have also used each one of these, is Laguna, Tiger Lily, and Xena. And it's kind of weird because Laguna and Xena, but this one is a pop of color, and it's one of the pops of color that doesn't have like a more satiny metallic finish. Xena is a little bit more pastel, but that blue is funny because it's a pop of color, but it's a matte. So that's what those look like right there. Okay, now that we've gone through swatches, I'm going to zoom you in so that I can show you what I am wearing on my eyes today. Everything on my eyes is from this palette. So let's start with crease color is Pastel Melon, which is this shade right here. To deepen that up, I used Cocoa right here. That's that brown shade. Then on the inner portion of the lid, I used Limoncello, which is that yellow. I used it over top of NYX Milk, that crayon stick that I like to use pastels on top of. I did use that to make it pop, however, I have used it most days without that pencil underneath, and it really does pop as well. It just gives it that extra kick when you use kind of a white base, especially because I had put Cocoa in the crease and it was kind of muddying up my lid, so I needed to kind of clean up some space, and that was really the main reason for that. Then all over the rest of the lid, I've got Tiger Lily, which is the blue. Over top of Tiger Lily in the middle portion of the lid is Mint Frost, which is right here. If I go in with a brush on this one, I have to be super, super careful because, again, it literally came in completely shattered. So I had pressed it together, and if I disrupt it too much, it just goes everywhere and just breaks again. So I did use it with a brush. I have been using it with my finger, and I have been enjoying both ways. But let me zoom you in and guide you through that again. So this is what it looks like on the lid, kind of different shades going on there. So all over the crease, again, I've got Pastel Melon. A little bit lower, I've got Cocoa, which you can't hardly see. It's peeking through maybe just a little bit, but I think I pretty much ended up covering most of it up with the brighter colors. Then on the inner corner, or inner portion of the lid, I've got Limoncello, which is that yellow. I have Tiger Lily all over the rest of the lid, but in the middle, I did add Mint Frost over top, and that was what came out of that. Now I am wearing a shade on the lower lash line, and it is Sangria, and I'll have to, once I zoom you out, I'll show you again what shade that is, but that is on the lower lash line. It's that reddish shade, just because I didn't want to keep adding tropical shades. I knew I wanted to incorporate some pink into my look, and so I thought, well, I'll just go with that matte. But that's what that looks like on the brow bone. I am wearing an actual highlight. So this up here is not from the palette, but that's what that looks like right there. And so I like to use quite a few shades out of this palette at a time, and at this point I have pretty much used most of them. I think there's probably like one, which is Sahara, that I really have not put to good use. Everything else I have used either in my crease to deepen the crease, my lower lash line. Obviously those tropical shades, every single day I used a different one because I wanted to test it out as a like pop of color on the lid, using it as the primary color or the primary shade. Now let me take you real quick into thoughts, because I've seen, I try not to watch a whole lot of reviews, if any, before I try a product, because I don't want it to already formulate my opinion. But for example, there's times where I do, when I kind of am on the fence of buying something and I want to know how it's going to perform, like the Tarte Bee and Mermaid palette. I had watched Puffin's wife, her video on it, and that's kind of what prompted me to buy it. But hadn't watched a whole lot of this. Now that I have used it, I started watching some videos, some reviews, just to kind of see what other people's thoughts were. A lot of people are not really crazy about this. One, again, because of the volume and product. You're paying the same price for a lesser amount of product. A lot of people are saying that the formula is kind of like a little bit more difficult to work with. They're not really happy that she's changed up the formula in her eyeshadows. I am one who has loved her previous formula, so I do see where they're coming from. And a lot of people are saying, honestly, as pretty as this is, it really doesn't justify $129 price tag. I don't really think it's worth the money. So the first couple of days that I used it, I would have probably said that. It wasn't one of those where I was immediately dazzled, as in with most other things. Usually if I'm dazzled by something, it's because I'm dazzled from the start, and then every time I use it, I just keep on loving it. With this one, I wasn't really sure the first couple of days, because I was using it and I was like, I just don't know. I just don't know if these colors are really dupeable in other palettes. I mean, really, it is a hefty, hefty price tag for what you're getting. But what's crazy is the more I have used it, the more I have loved it. So at this point in time, I really am dazzled by it, because mainly those pastel shades, the mattes, really make lovely crease colors. I really like how they look in my crease. Then adding those tropical tropical shades, they stand out so much. They just really pop. They're so vibrant. Now, I will tell you, I do think you have to work at them a little bit. Those tropical shades aren't just shades you can grab with your brush and just pat or sweep on your lid and you're good to go. I really did have to, not necessarily layer, but for example, the blue Today, grab some on my brush, put it on my lid, and you kind of run out of color. You have to go in with some more and continue on. So I probably did that about 3 times in order to cover that entire portion of the lid with that blue shade. And I have had that happen with the other shades as well, with those pops, those standout shades, which for a lot of people, you shouldn't have to do that for a $129 palette. And I totally get that. This is one of those things where it comes down to preference, and for me, I love it. I'm dazzled by it. I don't mind doing the extra work in order to get this rich and this vibrant of color on my lids, because in all honesty, yes, I probably do have a few palettes that stand out that have really great jewel tone shades. I don't have anything with jewel tone shades that stand out this much. I mean, to me, the pigmentation once you're done is really incredible and so vibrant. And also what I love, as long as, now granted, I don't wear eyeshadow without any kind of base or primer on my lids. I always do, because I'm not looking to get that fading and creasing. But I did not have any of that on my lids with eyeshadow primer and base. The beginning of the day, from when I wore it to when I was taking off my makeup in the late afternoon, early evening, it looked almost as vibrant as when I had put it on in the morning. And so that to me is a good also indicator of the quality of an eyeshadow. Yes, I love it. I'm dazzled by this. Would I recommend you go out and buy it? It's a hefty price tag again. So I realize that not everyone can just go say, I'm gonna go just pick up this palette, see if I like it. This is probably something you're gonna wanna watch more reviews on, more tutorials on, but I also think that kind of going to a different thing. I think the tropical shades, I think will be beautiful on pretty much most skin tones. When you get into the mattes, ooh, I'm about to drop one of these eyeshadow pans. When you get into the mattes, there are a lot of lighter shades. So my deeper skin tone ladies, all of these shades may not work out for you, in which case $129 price tag definitely is not worth you picking up in order to just get a few shades that would really stand out on you. So, you know, a lot of these creamier shades, like when I say creamier, I mean like peachier, those cream color type shades, yes, they suit my skin tone. I am a light to light medium skin tone. They'll probably suit maybe even a medium. Once you get into deeper than that, I don't think they'll really stand out. You may be able to use it as kind of like setting your eyeshadow base, things like that, but you really don't want to pay this much money for something like that. So that's another thing to think of in making your decision to purchase this palette. So for me, it's a Dazzled, but again, that's my preference. I don't mind doing the extra work in order to get that pop, in order to get that really nice look. And so it's a Dazzle for me, probably not for a lot of people. Okay guys, before I let you go, I need to give you the verse of the day. Today's comes from Matthew 18:20, and it says, "For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am with them." There's power in numbers. If there's a group of you that get together to pray, you can really, really have might in that. So just hope that encourages you. I hope that inspires you. Guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please stay tuned because I have several other Dazzleds or Disappointeds for you this week. I have quite a few videos for you this week. Have not yet decided if I'm going to put up a Shop My Stash. So if you see one this week, it's because I decided to. If not, it's because there's a whole lot of other content that will go up this week. So guys, take care. I'll see you very soon. Bye.